Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and I'm from the Practise. Thank you so much for joining me in this nice, slow upper body focus class. Today you'll need a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use a bathrobe, anything similar, possibly two blocks. If you don't have a block, then you can make do. Um, I've got this footstool. You can grab a chair. Again, you don't need anything at all. You can also grab a couple of cushions once you've gotten everything, maybe a blanket as well to get super comfortable. I'll meet you right here on the mat. So we'll start with a posture, put legs up against the wall. Um, you can use a block if you have bump, then you can just, or a bolster, and you can pop yourself up so that you've got height. Um, you can still do it even if you're not pregnant to get comfortable. You can, I'm going to use my chair or my footstool. You can just simply allow the legs to reach towards the ceiling. Just soften it into the knees since we're just starting. Or if you like, you can just literally go against the wall. Once you've found your comfortable place, get all the fidgets out the way here. So once you've done that and you feel ready, you could just begin to close down the eyes here. And just taking this first few moments here to really settle into the body, into this new shape. Finding the rhythm of the breath. And notice how it moves around the body as you just simply inhale and exhale. So, as the nation is forced into this COVID lockdown, we're not given much options, many activities to do. But yet, we can still find time to be busy, whether that's physically busy through work, rushing around, cleaning, whether that's mentally, always constantly thinking about things. When will we go back to normal? When will we be able to see this certain person? Whatever it is. So you can really use this time to just find yourself, find your center. Just really find out how you are today, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Maybe the mind is even busier now that you've found that stillness, and that's okay. Just see if you can use your next inhale to restart this moment again, knowing that you can't go backwards to change, you can't go forwards. So really use this present moment to reset, to be where you need to be And we'll take one controlled breath together. So take a deep inhale through the nose. Really fill up the lungs all the way to the top. And a big sigh out. So the next time you inhale and exhale, just take a deep inhale through the nose and an easy exhale through the nose. And just allow the breath to be nice and smooth, nice and soft. When you're ready, gently blink the eyes open. You can keep the legs up against the wall slightly bent, or you can release it. It's completely up to you. We'll just begin to reach the arms over the head and just grab onto your opposite elbows. And as you grab onto your opposite elbows, see if you can puff the chest up towards the ceiling a little bit more. So you're creating a super arch in the back. Pull apart the elbows and find as much space as you can along the body here. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, press your lower back into the ground and then just begin to scooch the elbows over towards the left, spreading into the right ribs and slight crunch along the left ribs. And see if you can really breathe into the right armpit here. Moving through center. And then we'll trade the arm that was on top, so most likely the uncomfortable one. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, walk it over towards the right. Keep pressing into that left hip. And again, finding as much space as you can from the left shoulder all the way down to the left hip. And then coming all the way back up. And just squeeze the knees in, rocking side to side. So again, you can keep, if you're using the chair in front of you, you can just gently scooch the knees over towards the left, especially if you've got bump, or you can just do it knees on the ground. Interlace your fingers behind the head. And just really open up across the chest towards the ceiling here. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, tap your right elbow to the left elbow. Inhale, release. Exhale, tap. One more like that. Inhale, release. And as you exhale, tap. Coming back through center, and then we'll come for the other side. So scooching the knees over towards the right. Allow it to feel good. You can scooch the hips too. Let's take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, tap left elbow to the right elbow. Inhale, release. Exhale, tap. One more like that. Inhale, release. Exhale, tap. And then slowly release. Just take it nice and easy. Slowly roll onto one side. And then lift all the way up. We'll meet in a comfortable seated position here. Or you can literally just sit on a chair. It's completely up to you. So we'll grab the strap. Do it from the ankle. And all we're going to do is find some length, ground through the sitting bones, reach the arms towards the ceiling. So the longer the strap, the more accessible this will be in the shoulders and the pecs, chest. So take a deep inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, just see if you can just keep a bit of softness in the elbow, but find as much length as you can at the same time. We're going to slide the arms down the back. So this will really depend on what you've done in the day. If you've worked out in the arms, so just don't be so hard on yourself if, why is it not the same as it was yesterday? Just come to the idea of non-attachment here. Super hard practice. And just really find your breath. And then once you reach the top, maybe you want to wiggle side to side. You don't have to. You can keep flossing behind your back if you like. So I can really feel this today. Did a bit of a chest and shoulder workout today. So this suits me to a T, this class. Just do one more round. And then we slowly release. And just shrug your shoulders if you need to, whatever feels good. So coming back to the surface, we're going to bring your elbows on top. I'm going to come for a tricep stretch and into the shoulders, maybe into the lats as well. You can do this against the wall. You can use the blocks. So obviously the higher up the surfaces, the more of a back bend you'll add in as well. Okay, or you can add, but coming to the ground is a great place to start. Okay. Bring the palms together, scooch the knees back behind you. This might be enough. If it is, perfect, stay where you are. If you like, you can just send the chest, or the action of sending the chest towards the ground, and then send the fingertips back behind you, so the fingertips between the shoulder blades. And then if you like, you can always play with cat-cow in the spine and in the pelvis. So that will be dropping the belly towards the ground, sticking the sitting bones back behind you. And then on your next breath round and draw the navel in. And then again, you can go through those motions. If it doesn't feel good, just keep the spine still. And then slowly release. Just again, wiggle it around if you need to. If you've got a chair in front of you, just move it. Coming into a plank pose, bring the block in between the knees. You can use a cushion or two cushions and place it in between. Okay, squeeze the block with your dear life. Okay, we're going to keep the knees to the ground, as this is a nice gentle class. Hands slightly out in front of you, drawing the navel and the ribs in. So squeeze into that block. Notice how this pelvic area begins to be super engaged here. I recommend the hands to be roughly shoulder width distance apart, index finger pointing forwards. If you're again feeling a little bit tight today, or it just does not feel good, you can try bringing the hands a little bit wider and turning the index finger outwards a little bit more. Okay. Checking that the shoulders on top of the wrists. But again, if this is causing any wrist issues, you can just slightly shift behind the wrists, okay? So that won't bring as much pressure into the crease. Drawing the navel into the ribs, really press the ground away from you, press into the knuckles. Nice long neck. If you're looking to spice this up even more, obviously you're more than welcome to extend the legs out in front of you. Keep squeezing the blocks together, engage into the belly. Take one more big inhale and a full complete exhale. And then just quickly scooch out of it, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle if you like. Just giving a bit of strength into the arms just to wake them up. We'll do one more round here. Okay. I'm going to extend my legs this time. Scooping the belly in, pull the chest through the arms. Keeping the glutes slightly engaged. Find stability in the pelvis. So if you're pregnant and you would bump, you will need to keep the knees on the ground. And if it still doesn't feel good, if you're pregnant or don't need to pregnant to not feel it good, you can just use the wall. Keep hollowing out the belly. Take one more big inhale And as you exhale, slowly release. So from here, we're going to come into a side forearm plank. So we'll start with the right forearm. I like to have my right forearm at a slight angle. You do you again. Rolling towards the left. So you either keep the right knee down, which in case you will do if you've got a bump, lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Think about keeping space across the chest and the hips. You can either bring knee to knee as well. That's a good one. If you feel okay, you want to spice it up a little bit, you're more than welcome to extend both legs, whether that's stacked or, staggered, that's staggered, or stacked. Completely up to you. I'm just really working into the shoulder and the right scapula. Keep pressing the ground away from you and just really find your breath here. And take one more big inhale and a full complete exhale. And we'll come to the other side. Left forearm. Either lower the left knee in line, or you can stack, you can stagger, or you can stack. Right hand can reach up. If it doesn't feel good, you can just place it on top of the hip. Keep lifting the hips up a little bit more. And keep drawing the belly and the ribs in. Finding as much space again and openness across the chest and the hips. And then slowly release. Bringing or coming back into your hands and knees. Tucking the toes under. Draw the belly and the ribs in. We'll lift our hips up and back for our first downward facing dog. In our downward dog, remember you're looking for a nice triangle shape. So if this is your first one of the day, you feel a little bit of tension in the hamstring, you can always keep the knees bent. Remember, the most important thing in the downward dog is to lengthen the spine. So can you press into the ground a little bit more to create a little bit more space alongside of the side body? And if you'd like, you can always wiggle around side to side. You can lift a leg up at the time. Completely up to you. And then slowly release. Come back into your tabletop. And then we'll come into a comfortable seated position. Sitting nice and tall. Doesn't matter how you'd like to sit. You can always sit on a chair. We'll reach your right arm up, bend into the elbow. We'll find your cow arm. So either stay here, maybe the left hand on top of the right elbow, or you can interlace your fingers back behind you. You can use the strap. So what we're doing here is really finding that stretch in the tricep and the shoulder. So don't put yourself, in an awkward position. We're trying to be comfortable. We're trying to breathe here. So remember that the goal is not to be super bendy, but the goal is to feel good. It's to be able to breathe. It's to be able to be aware that you're perfect exactly the way you are. You don't need to follow other people. You don't need to be someone else. When you're ready, we'll trade sides. And remember, this is a video, so if you need more time, then obviously just pause it. Notice if you've let go of the core, so can you draw the belly and the ribs in and together? And then slowly release. Interlace your fingers back behind you. Press the palms together, keep the elbows slightly bent here. So you can stay here, puff the chest forward, maybe find the ground with the hands. Think about rolling the shoulder tips back. If you want a little bit more, you can begin to extend into the arms. Just make sure you're not hyperextending. You can stay here if you want a little bit more. You can fold forwards, maybe bring the knees a little bit wider so you've got space, and reach the arms over the head. You can stay here, maybe round into a rabbit, crown of the head towards the ceiling, completely up to you. And you can always just nudge side to side. Gosh, I can hear my joints creaking. And then slowly release. Use the hands to push yourself up. Coming back into that comfortable seated position. I'll just change the way I am. Hands on top of the knees. Take a deep inhale, puff the chest forward, maybe look up. You can keep your eyes closed. And as you exhale, round it in, chin to chest, hollow out the belly. So a seated cat-cow. And just do a few more rounds just like that. Nice and easy. Make this your last round and take your time. Come into a nice neutral spine. I'm going to grab a block. And then we're going to extend your right leg. Keep it micro bent. Just because we haven't really worked the hamstring, but obviously if you're warmed up already, you're more than welcome to extend and it feels comfortable. We're all going to grab a block or something that you can rest on. Okay, it's not important, you don't have to have it. I'm going to place the right elbow on top of the block. Roll the chest open. Okay, see if you can really find length along the left side, so really press through that left sitting bone and just allow the left hand and the left arm to relax. Okay, so the reason why I asked to use this block is because I see a lot of people round and crunch and just look really uncomfortable and awkward, right? So I always ask, you look a bit uncomfortable. Are you breathing okay? So you can stay here. You can always bring the two fists together. You don't need the block. You can keep the openness. And obviously, by all means, you can just release the right arm down, roll the chest open. You can stay here if you like. You can reach your left arm up and over. Yeah, so notice how I've kept the openness on the left side. So this really stretches maybe a little bit into the lower back. Well, yeah, depending on how tight. Definitely along the left side. And again, the hamstring, the groin, if that's where you're going, you're heading in that direction. And slowly lift all the way up. We'll come to the other side. I always feel that we always leave out the side body to stretch. I always like to stretch. It's one of my favorite things to do. Again, use the block. Take it step by step. We all have one side more open and more tighter, so you can do whatever you want with the right arm. You can reach it over. Maybe just bring the two fists together. Completely up to you. And then slowly come all the way back up. I'm just about to finish off the class, so extend your right leg long. So if you've got a bump, remember to keep bump free. That's what you need to do. So create as much space as you need between the legs for bump to kind of rest forwards. What I did during my practice is I did it still the same side as everyone else. I know other people say go the different direction, but what you can do is keep it nice and loose, not loose, sorry, wide. Placing the right hand on top of the left leg, so anywhere along. Okay. Placing the left fingertips back behind you, take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, gently twist. And obviously you're not going to your full range of motion here. And if you're not pregnant, I mean, you can still do it. Like I said, you don't need to be pregnant to do that variation. If it feels okay, you can cross the left foot over the right leg. Find as much space and length as you can across the collarbone and the spine. When you're ready, we'll reset through center and take it to the other side. Placing your right foot over. Placing the right fingertips back behind you. Press through your sitting bones and the right foot. Okay. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, gently twist. And then coming back through center. One final thing, we're going to come to lie back down. You don't need a block, but if you do have one, then I would grab one. I've been teaching this a lot lately. It's an oldie but a goodie. Grab the block and you're going to bring it at an angle. Okay, so you want it at the nape of the neck, and then you're going to lie down. So the edge, one edge is on the nape of the neck, the base of the skull. Keep the knees bent, or you extend it, whatever you prefer, really. And all you're going to do is just gently wiggle the head side to side. So even if you don't have the block, you can just gently wiggle this head side to side. So if you're really prone to headaches, then this can be super nice to release a tight neck, release the jaw as well. I mean, it might not solve your headache problems, but it could be a cause. So this is just nice regardless. And again, if you have a bump, you'd need to prop yourself up. So just bear that in mind. And then just slowly release. You can set yourself up to lie down. I'm actually going to come for a nice gentle back bend. So you can use a cushion, maybe just rest your head on top of the cushions. You can stack them. 2 for the head, 2 for the lower, the mid back. Again, it's completely up to you. I'm going to use a block. So remember, blocks have 3 different heights. I'm going to place one underneath the head, one across the shoulder blades, and I'm going to come for a nice back bend, upper back, to finish off the class for myself. So you do you, remember, and I'm going to extend the legs, releasing the arm, and just closing down the eyes. We'll do one final clearing breath together. So take a deep inhale through the nose, and a full complete exhale. Coming to your final pose, Shavasana. You can stay here as long as you need to. If you feel ready to move on, just gently roll onto the right side. If you have a bump, roll towards the left if you're lying down. use the hands to just slowly pick yourself up. Coming to a comfortable seated position. Sitting really nice and tall. Closing down the eyes. Take a big inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, hands together at heart center, press the palms together. Taking a big inhale. Easy long exhale. Thank you so much for joining me. With love and gratitude to yourself and to this practice. Namaste.